When we picture the Mughal Empire, we usually imagine a golden age of wealth, high culture, and architectural marvels like the Taj Mahal. Starting in 1526, when Babur secured victory at the First Battle of Panipat, the empire rapidly swallowed up massive stretches of the Indian subcontinent. Maintaining this image of absolute power required heavy taxation, political cruelty, and a level of social division that often goes unmentioned in the history books. To accurately measure the true cost of Mughal rule, we have to stop looking at the emperors at the top and start investigating the unseen millions at the bottom. This animated diagram breaks down the society of the Mughal era into three distinct levels. At the bottom, a massive base of commoners. In the middle, regional rulers. And at the very top, a tiny, isolated royal family. We are going to climb this structure from the ground up, starting with the group that carried the heaviest burden. Mughal wealth came from a sophisticated system of extraction that pulled resources up through every layer of society. The Mughal military was in a state of near-constant expansion, fighting endless campaigns to conquer rival kingdoms. That kind of permanent war machine requires a massive, unyielding stream of revenue. The state pushed this financial burden directly onto ordinary farmers. They were forced to surrender huge portions of their crop yields to royal tax collectors. This photograph captures the devastating reality of that poverty. During droughts or famines, these heavy taxes didn't stop. Unable to pay, families would starve or lose their land entirely. Farmers weren't the only ones crushed by the state. Thousands of laborers were drafted to build the massive forts and monuments the empire is known for today, working for years under brutal conditions. Compare those grueling conditions with the spaces they built. The extreme luxury enjoyed by the royal court in ornate marble halls like this was directly funded by the physical exhaustion of the people outside. The physical foundation of Mughal grandeur was quite literally paved with the stolen wealth and forced labor of the agricultural class. Moving up to the middle tier of our pyramid, we find the pre-existing regional kingdoms and local lords. This historical painting illustrates the chaos of the Mughal war machine in action. To maintain control over a vast territory, the central government systematically stripped local rulers of their autonomy, forcing submission through violent campaigns and widespread destruction. Later rulers like Aurangzeb tightened this grip using strict religious policies. His administration destroyed local temples and reinstated the jizya, a specific heavy tax levied exclusively on non-Muslims. This managed state of fear ensured that regional powers remained too fractured to ever mount an organized resistance against the center. Finally, we reach the very peak of the pyramid, the royal family, the sole beneficiaries of all this massive wealth extraction. You might expect absolute power to bring peace at the top. Instead, it triggered a culture of political cruelty and bloody wars over succession. This portrait shows the regal image the emperors projected, but behind closed doors, Mughal princes routinely fought vicious battles against each other. It was entirely normal for brothers to murder brothers simply to clear the path to the throne. The ultimate act of royal betrayal happened right here at the Jasmine Tower. Emperor Aurangzeb seized power by forcibly imprisoning his own father, Shah Jahan, leaving him locked away for the rest of his life. The Mughal power structure was toxic at every level. It crushed the weak and vulnerable at the bottom and cannibalized the powerful at the top. Decades of endless warfare, massive corruption, and internal royal conflicts slowly rotted the empire from the inside out. When you starve the base and crush the middle tier, the structure eventually fails. The pyramid crumbled under its own weight. This internal decay, combined with destroyed local defenses, left the subcontinent vulnerable to invasion. This photograph captures the forces filling that power vacuum. The Mughals' vulnerability directly paved the way for successful foreign invasions and eventually British colonial rule. The system of total centralization left the entire region's defense dependent on a throne that was already tearing itself apart. Today, we look at massive structures like the Jama Masjid and marvel at the architectural achievements of the period. But we have to reframe how we understand these landmarks. We have to look past the carved marble and acknowledge the massive exploitation required to build them. Understanding the era requires acknowledging both the architectural brilliance and the millions of ordinary lives that were the actual currency of the empire's power.